right now there's a way for people to kind of give back where I'm starting to promote that there's a game coming up on June 18th right here at the ballpark against the Padres where people can buy tickets and come out to the ball game, but there's a rebate attached to your purchase, and $20 of that purchase that you're making per ticket is going directly towards my campaign.
The relief room is filled with Phillies relief pitchers, and it's in the only place that you go to relieve yourself, in my bathroom. So it is a shrine to honor Phillies relief pitchers in the bathroom.
Get a random Tuesday night, maybe about 3 weeks ago, and it was slammed. I mean, there was 38,000 people here, and we were all standing there going, this is incredible. And just being able to play in front of a fan base like that, I love getting home. I don't think people realize, obviously because, you know, my family and my kids and stuff, but being able to play in the bank is just something that is the coolest thing ever.
I'm Gregg Murphy.
I'm Sam Stafford.
I'm Todd Zalecki.
This is Ruben Amaro.
I'm Jim Salisbury.
This is Matt Edwards of the Relief Room. Welcome to Phillies Nation, presented by Valley Forge Tourism.
How do they do that?
A vacation in Montgomery County, PA is so affordable, you might lose your cool.
Oh, geez. Don't worry about it. It's free.
Feel free to explore the soldiers' huts.
Free? Yes!
Hey, parking is free!
Free!
It's free!
With so many affordable things in Montgomery County, go ahead. Freak out!
Philadelphia's favorite sports boutique and Wayne's favorite card store have joined forces to create an exciting new experience on the main line. Together, Shibe Vintage Sports and Wheelhouse Cards are offering fans a one-stop shop for throwback sports clothing, cards, memorabilia, and more, all the while supporting small community businesses. Be sure to check out their new locations in downtown Wayne, on Paoli Pike in Westchester, and online at shibesports.com.
Welcome back to Phillies Nation, presented by Valley Forge Tourism. You may recognize Phillies bat boy Adam Crognale, but he's also a cancer survivor. He's a finalist for this year's Leukemia and Lymphoma Visionary of the Year Award and raising money for people that are battling the same fight that he had just a few years ago. Gregg Murphy got to sit down with Adam and hear his story.
Well, Adam, let's talk a little bit about what keeps you busy during the summer, because I know you are one of the busiest guys around. Folks may know your face from television because you're the Phillies bat boy, and that is a job that kind of never ends. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, our days are a good 10 hours plus each day, and I mean, they fly by every time we're constantly either doing laundry or getting the equipment ready or filling the coolers or whatever. I mean, before you know it, it's first pitch every time, so they fly by, but when you take a step back, it's definitely long days.
And once the game starts, there's a lot you have to think about in terms of what the guys need and where they need it. Can you take us through that process a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I have a pretty good, visual memory and muscle memory as far as routines go and where things go. I know that, sports in general is a very superstitious environment, and baseball is no different. And guys like things the way they want them, and especially with our crew, we got a lot of veteran guys, so it's even more of that. So for me, I think it's just a matter of being around the guys enough to understand what works for them, and then just trying to make life as easy as possible for them. And we have guys that like their stuff at the end of the dugout, like Castellanos, and Harper likes his stuff right next where you normally sit. That a lot of people see him in the dugout, right next to the bat rack. There's certain routines that they never break, and it's my job just to make sure that it's executed every single game.
One of the things I think is always fun is foul ball at the plate. JT picks it up, and he doesn't roll it over to you. He fires it over to you, yeah. But you got to be ready for it.
Yeah, no, I kind of got a little bit of a heads up before my first game, and you can't really prepare for that. The last time I had a ball coming at me that fast, I had a glove on, right? So it was definitely at first like kind of a mental block of understanding to catch it barehanded. And I mean, now it's not even a thought. And it happened pretty quick, even back when I started here, knowing that, you know, this is just how it is. And also, I like to think of it as, I think the reason JT does that is it keeps his arm fresh. You know, you get that arm out of alignment, it's going to impact, you know, other throws. And of course, we know he's great at getting guys trying to steal bases. And, you know, he's constantly keeping that arm slot in the same spot by giving me the ball the same way as everything else. And I kind of think that's why he does it, and there's a reason behind that. That's why he's one of the best catchers in all of baseball.
Well, you can say that about a lot of the guys on this team, and that's why this team is so good. You came and became the bat boy at a pretty good time. Seen some real good success, a good group of guys to be around, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's every day is a dream come true. You know, you're around these guys that are all-stars, future Hall of Famers, in all honesty, and you know, guys that have accolades still to come, and you know, honestly enough that it's a career success as it is right now, and these guys are all coming together right now trying to get the bigger one. And you know, to be around that goal is really special. And you know, obviously looking back when I was a kid, there was an era just like this, and there is one goal in mind, and the fan base is behind this city and this team, and it's really special to be a part of it, be that close to everything going on.
Well, in addition to all of that you do to keep busy here in the clubhouse, you're also taking some time to help others, because a cause very near and dear to your heart, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society of Philadelphia. You're raising money. You yourself, a cancer survivor, 2014, diagnosed with lymphoma. Must have been a pretty scary time in your life at that point.
Yeah, at that point in your life, you're frankly so young, and you don't have a background. And honestly, at the time, you hear the word cancer, and I think at that age, I always associate that with, unfortunately, death. I wasn't knowledgeable enough, and honestly, why would I be, to know that there are curable ways to get through it, and that frankly, the older I've gotten, the more I realize there's a lot of different kinds of cancer out there, and a lot of different treatment styles, and it's all coordinated, and the doctors out there are constantly trying to make things better than they already are. And fortunate enough, I got through it, but at the time, you know, I didn't really know what was going to happen, and that's definitely a scary thought for a teenager.
Well, to that end, 10 years later, here you are and trying to make a difference. You said to me, you knew at some point you wanted to be able to give back, and here is your opportunity to give back, raising money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society of Philadelphia. Tell us how people can get involved in that.
Yeah, so right now, I mean, at this point, the constant message is just to raise money and donate money, however much you know, somebody's willing to give or can offer, because ultimately what we're doing is it's kind of a small competitive competition in itself to raise the most money against the other competitors up for this award, which is called Visionary of the Year. And there's I believe about 10 of us kind of going for it in this Philadelphia area. And you know, people would be surprised how quickly, like, a couple donations of $20, $50 adds up.
Yeah.
And I mean, right now there's a way for people to kind of give back, where I'm starting to promote that there's a game coming up on June 18th right here at the ballpark against the Padres, where people can buy tickets and come out to the ball game, but there's a rebate attached to each purchase, and $20 of that purchase that you're making per ticket is going directly towards my campaign. So before you know it, say you have a family of 4, that's about $80 coming my way, and coming to a much wider audience in the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So just to think about the possibilities in the coming weeks leading up to that game, it's awesome. And I mean, just for my benefit, obviously the donations have to be in before, and the ticket purchases have to be in before June 13th, because we're right around the corner from that final deadline.
All right, so just to be clear, we're looking for 2 wins this year. First win for Adam, raising money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society for Philadelphia, and then of course the Phillies as well.
Yeah. I mean, one of them is already scheduled, right? So I'll leave that up to the viewers which one I'm talking about.
What's the funniest thing a fan has said to you?
Take a shower.
How often do you get that?
Every game.
Asked me to sign his Zyn can. It's a pretty good one. There's other things that are a little bit more inappropriate that people say, but that's a pretty good one.
I don't know, something about my hair, I'm sure. Something about cut my hair. Actually, it was the other day warming up. I got told to cut my hair and get a real job. So I don't know what job would pay me better than this. So.
Oh man, you're short. Nah. Which was a secret, right? But no, I remember one fan telling me that, and my comment, I won't say what it was, but I made a comment, and it was funny because everybody else around laughed.
Next up, let's check in with some fans that are tailgating.
Tell us about the first game you ever went to.
Oh, at the vet, Chase Utley, first at bat, grand slam. I was there in right field. They were trying to get me the ball when I was a young kid, but like the guy was being a jerk about it, and I ended up getting the ball. But that was the first game I've been to.
First baseball game, probably just with the parents. Just nice night at the field. Gotta love Philly.
His first game, he was 2 months old last year in 2023. He was, it was great.
I don't really remember it. It was at least a few years ago. I don't remember, I'm not gonna lie.
You're watching Phillies Nation!
Phillies Nation is your source for breaking news, original analysis, trade insights, and more. With credentialed access, our team of writers brings you first-hand accounts from your favorite players on today's team, minor league prospects of the future, and Phillies alumni from the past. Join our community and connect with hundreds of thousands of diehard fans through our social media, road trips, tailgate parties, and charity events. Don't miss a thing. Be sure to visit PhilliesNation.com every single day.
Welcome to This Week in Philly Baseball History, presented by Shibe Vintage Sports. This week, in 1989, a 10-run Philadelphia comeback led Pittsburgh broadcaster Jim Rooker to embark on a 320-mile journey from the city of brotherly love to the Steel City. Vaughn Hayes and Steve Jeltz hit 2 home runs in a 15-11 victory at the Vet. Celebrate Philly sports history with a unique Father's Day gift from Shibe Vintage Sports. Visit them at 13th and Walnut Streets or shibesports.com.
And now, another crazy Philly sports story that you've never heard. For captain and star shortstop Octavius Cotto, baseball was more than a game. It was a platform for civil rights. When the National Guard Major founded Philadelphia's second black baseball team, the Pythians, in 1865, their game served to bring the community together to discuss issues such as segregation, integration, equal rights, and voting rights. In October 1867, the Pythians applied for admission to the Pennsylvania Association of Amateur Baseball Players, but were denied because they were black. This act of segregation established baseball's first color line. The barrier wasn't broken until Jackie Robinson's debut 80 years later.
Hey guys, I'm here with Matt Edwards, the owner of the Relief Room, and you might think that you know what a Relief Room is. Matt, it's got an entirely different meaning for you. Can you tell us what the Relief Room is?
Absolutely. Thanks, Sam. The Relief Room is filled with Phillies relief pitchers, and it's in the only place that you go to relieve yourself, in my bathroom. So it is a shrine to honor Phillies relief pitchers in the bathroom.
Now, before we even get into what's actually in there, how did it get started? What made you want to make this a thing?
It started naturally from the Phillies winning the World Series. So in 2008, now this is the house I grew up in. So my parents lived here in 2008 when we won. Well, so we had that euphoria of Brad Lidge excited on his knees, and we went to the parade and we had all the fun. And my dad was like, "I want this feeling to keep going. How do we keep it going?" And I was like, "Well, let's just stare at Brad Lidge every day." And he's like, "Uh-huh." And he went and he printed out the newspaper clipping of it, and he hung it. And he's like, "Well, I don't know where to put it." And I was like, "Well, the only spot Mom's going to let you hang it is in the crapper." And so he did. He put it up on the wall. And then a couple days later, it's like, he's awful lonely. The only guy that makes sense to put with him is Tug McGraw, the other closer that finished out a World Series for the Phils. So that's how it started.
2 of the biggest relievers ever,
yeah.
Brad Lidge and Tug McGraw, but you have everybody.
It's extensive. And so I've gone through the lists of Phillies players of all time who have pitched in relief, and there are, I mean, you're going to see it. It's a tiny bathroom. There are over 300 articles in there. And so I don't have everybody, of course, but that's part of it too, is because it's living and breathing, and the Phillies are continuing to grow and have more relievers. So there's space still left, but it's getting tight.
You just told me earlier this is kind of your archive. You have binders with extra guys that don't fit in there right now. So do you switch them out? How do you decide who goes?
I do. And sometimes a picture on a card or an 8x10 is funnier to me than something else. Or I get something new because I have friends that send me stuff regularly. I've become friendly with a Phillies groundskeeper who sends me cool stuff. Like, so if I get cool stuff, I'm like, well, this is cooler than that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you really blew up when the New York Times did an article on
Correct.
it. So how much did you get sent to you after that to add to the relief room?
Well, one, I got people that sent me copies of the New York Times to ask for my autograph.
Oh.
That was a new one. And I don't know how they found my address, but all right, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
My wife was like, maybe a P.O. box, honey.
Yeah, right.
Maybe a P.O. box. But it has that relationship. I mean, Tyler Kepner came here and wrote that article and did wonders for me. And that really after that, a lot of people did reach out. And people that, you know, I've become friendly with on Twitter and social media. And they're like, I have this thing, it belongs with you. And they would send me stuff like that. So it's super cool. Like people reach out and just like, hey, can I send this to you? Like, yeah. They want to come by. People have come by.
That's
like,
awesome.
It's pretty cool.
We already know baseball is the best community ever because
100%.
it's just so close and family
100%.
knit. Yeah. But you even said that somebody actually came that was featured in your relief room, Scott Air.
Scott Air came here. He did. He was the first and so far only. The greatest thing was he came on my birthday. Like it was circumstantial that it happened that way because he was in town, but it was my birthday, so that made it even better.
So cool.
And I thought he'd come here and like have a, you know, sign a couple things, have a drink maybe, hang out for half an hour and peace out. He was here for hours. We hung out, we opened like packs of cards and he's like, oh, I struck this guy out. Or hey, let me tell you a story about this guy. And it was just like the baseball community hanging out with a baseball buddy who just happened to be a world champion for my team. Like super cool stuff.
That's awesome. Now, I know we have shots that everybody's looking over as we were talking, but I want to see some of your stories that you have in some of your favorite parts of the room. So let's go see the relief room.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Okay, so we're in the locker room outside of the relief room, and we'll get to that in a second, but I had to point this out. You have an actual cup of coffee.
Yep.
And who's on here?
That's Erskine Thomason. That guy played in exactly one game in his major league career.
So literally had a cup of coffee.
Literally a cup of coffee.
I love it. It's just, the puns are incredible going in here, but we're going to get some things. I want to see who your favorite is.
Yeah.
And I want to see if there's any more Erskines in there.
Sure.
So yeah, let's check it out.
All right. So this right here is Tom Hilgendorf, who is one of my favorite guys for a number of reasons. But what's so cool about this is that Dick Perez sent that to me. Dick Perez is the ultimate illustrator for Major League Baseball. He has worked with the Hall of Fame. He has worked exclusively with the Phillies. He created the Donruss Diamond Kings cards in the 80s. That guy is a legend. There's a huge documentary coming out about him soon, and he was generous enough to send that to me personally and wrote a note that said, I think great ideas should be rewarded. And how cool is that Dick Perez, like it gives me goosebumps. It's the coolest. Some other cool stuff, we have Mitch Williams right here. Everybody knows Mitch, but I got him to sign this that says, bring in the gas in the relief room. So that's got its own jokes right there. There's another great one down here that is Greg Harris is his name. Greg Harris famously pitched with both hands in a major league game, and he signed it that said, using both hands in the relief room. Which is obviously hilarious. Glenn Wilson right here is a right fielder who only pitched once for the Phillies, but his nickname, because he had a cannon for an arm, was Glenbow. So you can see how he's dressed there. But also they did a series in the 80s called Little Big Leaguers, where they took pictures of the kids when they were young, and he inscribed that, dreaming of the relief room, Glenn Wilson.
Matt, you said that you have the most famous bathroom in the world, and I think you're right on that one. Can people purchase your merchandise here?
If they can. I don't have a store for it, but if they reach out to me, I do have some, and new designs coming up fairly often. They can find me on Twitter @The Relief Room, and that's how I interact with most folks with it.
Awesome. Matt, thank you so much for having us come out.
This is great.
All right, time now to throw it over to Philadelphia's preeminent quizmaster. It's Johnny Goodtimes, and he's got some baseball trivia.
Babe Ruth was the first Major League Baseball player to achieve the 500 home run milestone. Who was the second?
From Octavius Cotto to Connie Mack to Edith Houghton, it's always been about more than baseball in Philadelphia. That's why, in the spirit of those pioneers, Shibe Vintage Sports is a proud supporter of the Anderson Monarchs youth baseball program in South Philly. We believe that it's important to honor the past and also invest in the future. You too can support youth baseball in Philly.
For every Philadelphia Star shirt sold, a portion will be donated to the Anderson Monarchs.
Visit shibesports.com.
A vacation in Montgomery County, PA is so affordable, you might lose your cool.
Oh, geez. Don't worry about it. It's free.
Feel free to explore the soldiers' huts.
Free? Yes!
Parking is free!
Free! It's free!
With so many affordable things in Montgomery County, go ahead. Freak out.
Babe Ruth was the first Major League player to achieve the 500 home run milestone. Who was the second? Just a few years later, Jimmy Fox of the Philadelphia A's hit his 500th home run.
If you're a trivia buff, head to JohnnyGoodtimes.com to hire Johnny for your next company party or private event. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Phillies Nation, presented by Valley Forge Tourism. I'm Gregg Murphy. Time now to check in with the guys from the Phillies Show. Todd Zalecki, Jim Salisbury, and Ruben Amaro Jr.
We have a very special episode for you today. Bryce Harper joined us recently, right before the 2024 London series between the Phillies and Mets at London Stadium.
Phillies are playing so well right now. We're a little more than a third into the season. You're winning at a remarkable clip. The ballpark is packed every night. The atmosphere is electric, and it's not even summer yet. I'm wondering what it is like just coming to the ballpark today. Does it feel any different?
Being able to play in the bank is just something that is the coolest thing ever. Going on the road, obviously, it's the road, and going and playing, it's a little tough. But when you get back home, there is nothing like it. I mean, we just got back from San Fran, and the last day in San Fran, I was just like itching to get back home, just to be able to play in front of this fan base, in front of this crowd, and there's nothing like it.
So you had played against Philadelphia for years. Is that something? Was that like something was important to you to be able to play in front of a fan base like that? I mean, I watch you, and it looks like you rise to these amazing occasions. Was it important for you to play in front of a fan base like this?
It's just that moment, right? Just being able to, when I came in here as an opposing player, I didn't see it in the days of like Philly, right? Like I didn't really see it in the 07, 08, 09, 10, 11, you could still say. I mean, 12, it was still packed and people were coming to the game, but it was kind of out of that window, I guess. I don't know, maybe a little bit. And so, being able to kind of see it at the end of it, obviously you still had the players of, Chase and Cole and Jimmy and Howard and everybody coming in and Ruiz, and I still faced Lee and Hamels and all those guys. So those guys would pitch and obviously it'd be slammed. But I didn't really feel it, obviously, because I was an opposing player. So I would feel the other side of Philly, obviously playing in right field. It was a little tough for me as an opposing player coming in because I'd feel it in a different way.
Right.
But I loved it. You could see the passion, you could see the fire. And you saw that in a couple different stadiums as you're playing in opposing players. But when you are a player in Philadelphia, there is nothing like it. And I can say that just because I play here right now, and there's no greater feeling than walking into the bank and driving in, just like you said, driving into the bank, warm weather, 75 degrees, a little humid, and everybody just, I think obviously when you're winning, people are in a good mood, right? Obviously. And that's great, but you can just feel the emotion and the power, and just being able to feel the fan base each night is something very special.
I wanted to ask you, you talk about playing in front of these fans and what they do to you. They lift you, they elevate you. What's it like playing behind this pitching staff?
Yeah, same, right? I mean, obviously being able to play in front of a fan base that just, like Ruben said, I mean, I love that moment. I love the opportunity and the moment of being in that with a fan base like this. There's nothing greater. And I have that confidence when we have our starting pitching out there as well like that, and as much as our starting pitching gives us that confidence, I feel like we give them that confidence as well as an offense to go out there and, hey, if I don't have a great game, they're going to pick me up. And I think everybody does that very well in our clubhouse. And it's like that next man up mentality. I think we've done a great job of that. I mean, we saw that last night in that Cardinals win last night, or in the Phillies against Cardinals win last night. We saw that, Ranger goes down in the third inning and Turnbull comes in and does his job. And it's just like that next man up. And I've said it a couple of times where, you know, you sit there and you really, you know, we don't care where you're from, who you are, what you do, what type of demeanor you had on different teams, or if people liked you on different teams, or if they didn't like you on different teams. We don't care, because when you come into our clubhouse, it's different. Like, you're part of our team, you're part of our organization. We want you to feel that way, because in any big moment or any big spot, we want you to know that every single guy in our dugout has your back, no matter what. And if you come through, great. If you don't, we'll get them next time, because we're hoping that you come through more times than none, and that's okay with us, you know. And I think that's instilled in our organization, from John to Dave to Tomper, and through our minor leagues as well. You know, if you're part of our team, you're part of us, and we want you to be part of that. And that's where the confidence and the ability comes from everybody on our team.
Welcome back to Phillies Nation, presented by Valley Forge Tourism. Next week, Gregg Murphy will share some of his experiences from London. He'll also take us to Victus Sports, where they customize bats for the trip. He'll also give us a tour of the facility, and we'll learn about the bats that they're making for many Major League players, including our Philadelphia Phillies. For Gregg Murphy, I'm Sam Stafford. We'll see you next week.